So this is a way of measuring the spread. Go and write that down. A box and whisker plot shows the variability of a data set along a number line using the least value, the greatest value, and the quartiles of the data. Quartiles sound like quarters, right? There's 4 quarters in a whole. Quartiles divide the data set into 4 equal parts. The median divides the data set into 2 halves. The median of the lower half is the first quartile. The median of the upper half is the third quartile. Earphones off, Pinello? And then there's the 5 numbers that make up a box and whisker plot are called the 5-number summary of the data set. So we're going to summarize using what we call a 5-number summary. Minimum, comma, quartile 1, comma, the median is the same thing as quartile 2. Put that one in parentheses, comma, quartile 3, and maximum. That's the 5-number summary. Notice they're separated by commas. The 5-number summary is this. You already know how to find the median. I'm going to get into quartile 1 and quartile 3. And the minimum and maximum is pretty obvious what minimum and maximum mean of a data set. That's just the lowest value and the highest value. All right. Give you another minute here. Let's try it with some data of this class here. Let's figure out how long how long has each person lived in San Bernardino County? Actually, San Bernardino would not be Pomona. Pomona's the last city in LA County. Let's just do that. How many years you lived in Pomona? Ms. Rodriguez, how many years have you lived in Pomona? 3, okay. Juarez, how many? That's fine. And Ortiz? Horton? Binevo, how long you been living in Mona? Medina? 4? That's me right there. I live in Chino, next suburb east. Um, so what we're going to do is we're going to find the 5-number summary. The key word here is summary. We're going to summarize the data with 5 numbers. The 5 numbers are the minimum, quartile 1, they're right here, separated by commas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to make a box and whisker plot. It's like a type of graph that involves the 5-number summary. Very easy. You're going to laugh at how easy it is. Trust me. First thing we want to do is find the 5-number summary, which means we have to put them in order, our data. So let's rewrite the data as in order. So 0, we got 4, actually 4, 3, 4, my bad. The coffee hasn't kicked in. 0, 3, 4, we got 13, 14, 17, and 17. There's our data now in order, from least to greatest. Okay, there's 7 people in here. Let's go ahead and first find the minimum. Isn't that obvious what the minimum is? So I'm going to put 0 above the minimum. Maximum, that's obvious too. That's 17. Now, what we're going to do now is find the median, which would be the second quarter. Think of like a basketball game or a football game. Quarters separate the whole game. The end of the second quarter is actually halftime. That's the median. The end of quarter 2 is the median, so that's why I put median or quarter 2 means the same thing. What would be the median here? 13. It's an odd number amount of data values, so 13 is the median. Let me put 13 here. Now, the last 2 are just quartile 1 and quartile 3. Quartile 1 would be the median of the first half of the data. So here's our data set. The median would be the number right in the middle of our first half. So between 0 and 13, what's the number right in the middle? 3.5, huh? Would have to find the mean between 3 and 4. Notice. Okay? So, 3 plus 4. Actually, my bad. That's not how we do it. We don't include the median. Forgive me. It would be the median of the data set to the left of the overall median. So let me rewrite this again. Hold up. This was a 0, 3, and 4. Forgive me. All right, so this was the median right here. Now the numbers to the left of the median are these numbers. So quartile 1 would be the median of those numbers. 3. See that? Quartile 3 would be the median of these numbers. So we don't count the overall median. The overall median was 13. You guys saw that? So the numbers to the left of the overall median, I now need to find the median of that. The median of that would be quartile 1. So in this case, quartile 1 would be 3. And over here, quartile 3 would be 17. We have our 5-number summary, ladies and gentlemen. It is easy. I told you this was going to be very easy. This is why they teach it pretty early. When did you see it, Waters? Do you remember what class you saw it? Yeah, way back. So I have to review this before I get to where I'm taking you with advanced statistics. I'm only going to cover this for one day. So the box and whisker, so let's now make a box and whisker plot of the 5-number summary. This 5-number summary summarizes the data for us. Now here's how we do the box and whisker plot. You guys know if I draw a cat, shoot. cat has whiskers. So in the same way, watch the box and whisker plot we're going to draw. The first thing we're going to do is draw a number line. We'll draw a number line. Our data spans from 0 to 17, so I'm going to go by 2's. 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, and so on. I'm going by 2's here. Depending on your data, you pick the appropriate scale. First thing we're going to do, is draw the box. The box is going to go from the quartile 1 to quartile 3. So I'm going to draw a box beginning at 3 and end the box at 17. So 3 is right here. Let me do it in blue. So watch, here's the number 3 right here. This is quartile 1. I'm going to draw a box from here all the way to quartile 3, which was 17. Wait, was it? Yeah. 17. A little bit past. So far, so good. And then what I'm going to do is I'll draw my median, my overall median. It's 13, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to plot or draw a line rather at 13. So here's 13 will be right here, so I'm going to draw a line inside the box right there. That represents my median. So far, so good. Now I'm going to draw my whiskers. The first whisker will be from the minimum to quartile 1, from 0 to 3. Look at this whisker. I go from here, it's like a little whisker out of the box. Now on the right side, I'm going to draw a whisker from the quartile 3 to the maximum, but there's a problem. Quartile 3 and the maximum are the same number, so I'm not going to draw a whisker on the right side. Look at this this represents quartile 3, which is the number 17, but quartile 3 and the maximum are the same. So I don't draw a whisker coming out of the right side. If there was a maximum higher than quartile 3, like maybe 20, then I'd draw the whisker to 20 if the maximum was 20. But the maximum here, the maximum and quartile 3 mean the same thing. So in other words, we're done with our box and whisker plot here. But just a little FYI, if we had a higher maximum, let's say the maximum was someone in here lived in Pomona for 20 years, let's say, then I'd draw a whisker all the way to 20. 18, 20. The 20 would be right here. See, I'd draw a whisker on the right side, hypothetically speaking, if there was someone in here who lived for 20 years in Pomona. So let's summarize. So this is actually done. This would your finished project product would look like. You'd also write. You have to summarize. What does this data mean? This is years living in Pomona. I'm going to write years living in Pomona. So if you ever draw a box plot, you have to explain what the data means. You have to give the data a title, right, Horton? Years living in Pomona. Second period class. Like, what's the data about, and who are we talking about? Is this the state of California? Who is this? Right. Years living in Pomona, second period class. The second period class is your years living in Pomona. So this would be the finished product at this point. just before I close the notes, let's just talk about what each one means. This was your minimum. Just put a MIN. The beginning of the box is quartile 1. This line inside the box is your median. I'll put MED, or quartile 2. Remember, that means quartile 2. Quartile 2 and the median mean the same thing. And this is your max. And this is quartile 3 right here. The end of the box is quartile 3. So you got to know what each part means. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a box and whisker plot. Okay. So you should have 64 stamps by the end of today. You're now going to do a credit check. We're done with our notes for now. You're going to do a credit check. Chromebooks are open. Remember, whatever stamps you have, divided by 16, and that tells you how many credits you have. Go ahead and